Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. It's just Bayan back again, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to get into a very brief lesson in response to a few videos that have been going out. I first caught wind of it from the beloved elder apostle Tahar, and the other apostles have been going into it as well. Elder apostle Ariamla, I believe the elder from Chicago as well. I didn't get a chance to see his lesson, but needless to say, the Spirit hopped on me to also speak on this back and forth. All right, that Naquam from Wi-Fi and this individual by the name of David Lynn, they had a back and forth or whatnot. And, and as usual, these individuals that subscribe to 501c3, Calvinism form of Christianity, always err in the scriptures. And there was flaws on both ends, because ultimately, the stance with Acts, the 2nd chapter, that can easily be dismantled pursuant to what David Lynn brought out regarding that. And then he brought out Esther 8 and 17, which left Naquam in a disarray. You see, he couldn't combat that, ultimately because he didn't have the, spiritual faculties, the understanding or the knowledge regarding that history. And this is why it's critical that we study to show ourselves approved, pursuing the 2 Peter 2 and 17, man. Eat the whole roll as what was commanded to Ezekiel. I believe in Revelations 10 it's also mentioned the beloved the beloved John the Revelator. I believe it's mentioned in Revelations 10, if I'm not mistaken, when he was having the encounter with the angel regarding the book. And he said he ate the whole book. He ate the whole book. We got to take in all this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. This is why it's important not to miss the discourse of the elders, man. We have the true teachers, man. It's being proven time and time again. And Naquam, I just want to aim at him real quick. I just want to make a point. He was once in the light. He learned by the elders and apostles. And then he fell away, and he actually came up against them at one point. Naquam, we didn't forget. You came up against the elders and apostles, man. You have a different stance regarding the MOTB, but that's fine though. Because we're all in our lot. Everyone's operating under the will of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But the point I want to make is that you not being under the correct tutelage, had you in a position where you were confounded by a bugged out Christian, man. And if I'm not mistaken, he's a fallout. That dude David Lynn. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he once understood. He was once in the light as well, but I could be wrong. But needless to say, the point I'm making is, Naquam, see that? You got yourself in a in a little jam where you shouldn't have been in that jam. That understanding should be established, but because you're not, coming up the right way, you're not being raised right. You see, through the Spirit, showing you that you don't have the spiritual faculties. You can know a billion precepts, but do you have the understanding, man? The book of Proverbs 4. Let's get it. Let's start with that. And this is not about Naquam. This is about that Esther 8. We're gonna get that real quick, but let's get this first. The book of Proverbs, chapter 4. And verse 7, and it reads, wisdom is the principal thing, right? It's the principal thing. When you get this word principle, it goes into what?
Principle.
Right. It goes into what? First in order of importance, right? So you getting wisdom Getting wisdom is the principal thing, right? Now watch this. Let's go back to the scripture. Wisdom is the principal thing, right? Therefore, get wisdom. But with all thine getting, you have to get the understanding, man. Which is what? The understanding is when you actually are able to exercise that wisdom. You're able to exercise that knowledge, man. That's when you know you truly have the understanding of that wisdom you've been built upon. You see, understanding is the key to the wisdom you have. You see that? So you can have the wisdom with all these precepts and specific pressure points, but if you don't have the complete understanding, there's gonna be chink in your armor. You see, but needless to say, going into that Esther, like this dude David Lynn brought out Esther 8 and 17. Again, the beloved elders have been going into it, the elder apostles, a few other brothers, and making talking points regarding it. And the Spirit hit me. I looked up a specific translation, and then the Spirit hit me. I also looked into some commentary as well. I want to touch on that real quick through the Spirit. But yeah, this lesson is not going to be long. Just bringing further light, to the talking point, and it's all through the Spirit. It's all through the Spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Let all things be done unto edifying. So let's go to the book of Esther real quick. The book of Esther. Let's read it in the KJV first. Now, this history, for you Akiyam and Akwat that are not aware, this history, now you got to remember Haman had a decree out for the Israelites to delete them all out of every province, man, and ultimately, through Esther, long story short, you have Mordecai as well, that was king over us at the time. But needless to say, he is the main character. But needless to say, Esther, Mordecai is the main character. But what I'm saying is Esther went to Xerxes, right, and had that decree reversed, and also a decree in the form of Israel being protected. And if anybody comes up against us, there'll be smoke. And it was actually hedged and sealed by Xerxes himself. You see, so it was a decree of the king. You see? So check this out. Esther 8 and 17, real quick. And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment, Xerxes, right? His commandment, right? And his decree came, right? Decree being what? A law, right? The Jews, right? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi had joy and gladness, right? A feast, right? Purim, right? The feast of Purim, right? In a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews. Now, this is their Calvinism stance, right? But we're going to speak on it, right? Why did they do that, though? For the fear of the Jews fell upon them, man. And the beloved elder apostle Tahar has already made the point regarding, via blue letter, that these are two different words in the Hebrew, okay? When you go into this word Jew, you see? The Jew regarding the Israelites is what? Is Yahweh, right? Alright, so let's go get it real quick. Bear with me. Real quick. Bear with me. So regarding the Jews, it says,
Strong's H 3064. Yehudi.
No, that's not correct. It's Yahweh, right? Yahweh, right? Now this is going into the Jew, right? The Jews, the Israelites. You see? When you go when it goes into many of the people of the land became Jews, you got what? Okay, here we go. And you have Yahad, right? Let's get this right here.
Strong's H 3054. Yahad.
Right, Yahad, right? Yahad or Yahadiyam, plural, right? And you had Yahawada or Yahawayayim, right? Yahawayadiyam, Salakia, Yahawadium, regarding the original Jews. Yahawadium, you see, regarding the regular Jews. And this one here, regarding those in the province that became Jews, it says what? Yahadiyam. So you have Yahwahadiyam and Yahadiyam, two, like the elder said, these are two different words. And this is going into what? When you go under the Strong's definition, to Judaize. You see that? To Judaize. And they go into that Judaism. This is that vocab alone mess, man. Right? To become a Jew, right? Become Jews. And we know you can't via bloodline, you can't be no Jew. So what were they doing? They were playing dress up, man. Okay, they were playing dress up. Let's go to because they were fearing for their life. Let's go to the commentary real quick. Now I was looking at David Guzik's mentioning regarding this verse. Down below, this is for edification purposes. Alright. Now this is Esther 8 and 17 under David Guzik, right? And it says what? Under verse 17, we'll read it again and get it. And in every province, the city, wherever the king's commandment and decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, right? A feast and a holiday. Why? Because we overcame Haman, right? Him and his sons got hung. And more wicked individuals of the time got hung in the following chapter, if I'm not mistaken. You see? So these people were scared. The people that were around us were scared, man. Okay, we had that decree backing us from Xerxes. Look it. Then many of the people of the land became Jews because fear of the Jews fell upon them. Check this out. This is his explanation. Then many of the people became Jews as they saw power working on behalf of his people. Okay? They wanted to look at, they wanted the same relationship with power. Okay, they wanted the same relationship with power. You can want all you want. Okay? That doesn't mean you're gonna receive. You see? And when you get this Esther, bear with me, in the ESV, this is what I was looking at yesterday night. Bear with me. Yeah, we want to get out of captivity right now. Is it happening yet? No. Slowly but surely. You know, the point I'm making, you can want all you want. Doesn't mean you're going to get that access. Okay? Again, they were playing dress up. All right, this is Esther 8 and 17 in the ESV. And it reads, and in every province and in every city, wherever the king's commandment and his edict reached, there was gladness and joy among the Jews, a feast and a holiday, right, Purim, right, and many from the peoples of the country declared themselves Jews. Okay? Why? For fear the Jews have fallen upon them. So they declared themselves Jews. You see? It wasn't as if they were consecrated and brought into the temple and, you know what I'm saying, anointed. No, man. It didn't play out like that. Okay? David Lynn, Vocab Malone, and you other wicked nigga that's on the phone with them. It didn't play out like that. Y'all got it twisted. Y'all don't know the scriptures. And you guys don't study and you don't look up words. That's the big mistake. Naquan learned that lesson. He learned that lesson recently. with this encounter he had with David Lynn. Looking at words is critical. This is why our elders and apostles tell us to do so. You got to look up words, man. You got to know. You got to know what the words going into in the Greek and in the Hebrew and some Latin. You got to know. Why? Because the scriptures were translated in these languages, man. You got to know. You got to go back to the original context, or you're going to be in disarray like Vocab Malone. You see, so they declared themselves Jews. Why? For fear the Jews have fallen upon them, man. They knew what it was, man. Okay? They knew of the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They heard the stories of us being delivered out of Egypt. Okay? They had the clarity of how our forefathers got down via Solomon, King David. You know? So on and so forth, man. They knew if we had advantage, they're doomed. Shit, you take it all the way back to the Egyptians. They came to the conclusion that we were stronger than them. We were mightier than they were. They admitted it. You see, and all these nations know that. And as a matter of fact, what account comes to mind is Judith. Let's get this real quick. Now, I'm going to have to cut this short. Akiyam and Akwat Salakia. When you go to Judith, right? The 5th chapter. Bear with me. And this is when Holofernes, he was a captain of Asher, right? The Assyrians. They were trying to press us. They were trying to get Samaria. Let me see, what do I want? Oh, here we go. Verse 17. I'll start at verse 17. This is Achior speaking. He's one of the chief captains of the Assyrians. He was riding with what's his name? Holofernes. Now check this out. And it reads, he was giving warning to Holofernes, the commander, regarding pressing the northern kingdom. Watch this. And it reads, Judith 5:17. And whilst they sinned not before their power, they prospered, because the power that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. But now are they returned to their power, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. And in order to get to Jerusalem, you had to go through Samaria. You see the way they were coming in, these cats. You see, they were trying to get through Samaria, and they get to Jerusalem. You see, but they couldn't penetrate either one. But check this out. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their power before them, and we become a reproach before all the world. Which happened because Holofernes was decapitated, I believe, by Judith. You see? He got caught slipping. Why? Because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua was working on our behalf. Like how he's working on our behalf now. Because we're in a time where we're going to be delivered. And this is what you heathen are going to find out. Okay? Vocab Malone, Dr. Brown, David Lynn. Okay, and the rest of you niggas that are coming up against this truth. We're in a time of deliverance for the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect. You see, and there's no way around it. Okay, and regarding that Esther 8 real quick, let's go back to that real quick. Notice the rear end of this chapter, of this precept. For the fear of the Jews fell upon them. Right, and many of the people of the land became Jews for the fear. For the fear of the Jews fell upon them. Now this is an inkling. This is an inkling of what's going to happen in the kingdom. Okay, because when we take a glance into prophecy real quick, what's it say in Isaiah the 2nd chapter regarding our stance and how the heathens are going to be moving upon that time? Isaiah 2:2, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain, what the government of the Lord's house, which is Israel, a so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right, of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, right? It's going to be the top of the top government, right? And should be exalted above the hills, which are smaller governments, right? We're going to be exalted above the bigger governments and smaller governments. We're going to be on top, right? And all nations shall what? Shall flow unto it. Okay? All you nations are going to flow unto us, man. You're going to become like Jews. You're going to become like Israelites. Okay, we're going to be a light unto you. You're going to be doing what we do as far as keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, man. What happened in Esther 8 was an inkling to what's going to happen in the eon to come. Check this out. And he shall judge among the nations. Salakia. I skipped the point. Right here, this is what I want. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain, right, to the government of the Lord Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. Does that mean they're Israelites? No. They've been Judaized is what that means. Okay? They're not gonna be literal Israelites, but they're gonna be walking in the ways of the Israelites, walking in the ways of righteousness, right? Because that's what's going to be established on the planet Earth. And that's what Esther 8 was echoing. And it was through that fear. Okay? Those nations, those people that were around us were walking to the beat of our drum because they were in fear. See? A healthy fear fell upon them, man. You see? And the same thing's going to happen in the eon to come. Check this out. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord Yahweh from Jerusalem, man. So at the end of the day, we're going to get that true decree, that true order is going to come from the true king, not from no Xerxes, okay? But from the true king, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man, regarding our sovereignty and our earthly dominion, man, and domination upon you heathen. And in that day, all you are going to become Jews, become like Jews, or become like Israelites in that day, man. Okay? Because we're going to be established, man. You see? But does that mean you're an Israelite? You're bloodline? No, man. You're going to be playing dress up for the fear of your life. Is what that boils down to. But yeah, man, hey, that's all I got. Through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bashim Yashai. I'm out of time. I'm running late today. Akiyam and Akwa Salakia. Got to head into the plantation. But, I just want to, touch on that through the spirit. Just bring more, light towards the truth, based off what, the beloved elder apostles have brought forth. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. But yeah, Lord willing, you Akiyam and Akwaf were edifying. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kwedash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Shalom.